What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Just Saying with Justin Martindale. I'm Justin Martindale, and we have a Pride episode for you guys today. I mean, I wanted to start off with a little bit about me. Well, I will say this. I have shows Friday in Napa, California, at the Krug Winery. Me, Heather McDonald, and Julie Goldman. So please come to those. Get your tickets for some wine tasting and fun. I don't know. But without further ado, I have a friend of mine. He has just been all over the place. You have seen him on Pose on FX. You've seen him on Hacks on HBO Max. And his show Queer as Folk just premiered on Peacock. Without further ado, Johnny Sibilly, welcome.
Thank you.
Or should I say hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it, hit it. Get it.
You could say that.
Get it. Ow. I love that. How are you?
Girl.
Yeah.
I'm great.
Good.
I am filled with happiness.
You should be. You're all over the place. You are just, I see your Instagram and you're just like, oh, New York. And now I'm back in LA. Yeah. And I mean, it has been a wild ride for you.
Yeah. I remember the days when I couldn't even afford to go to Fire Island because I was so broke. So
I've never been to Fire Island.
Really?
I know. Am I
Did
trash?
you watch the movie?
I did. I watched it over the weekend because I was like, it's Pride. I got to watch it.
Just a little look into what to expect.
It looked really humid.
Yeah, that's part of it.
It's like tropical.
Yeah.
It's more tropical than Provincetown.
For sure.
Yeah.
It feels a little more secluded than P-Town. And P-Town also feels more like families and, feels more tame, I will say.
Yeah, there was a lot of shenanigans in Fire Island. I liked it, though. It was very, very fun.
Yeah.
But I mean, how has your Pride season been? I mean, you've got one of the top shows now.
Yeah. I
mean, that came out in June.
It's like my Pride's been busy. It's been more about, promoting the show and making sure that people watch it and, but it feels like a normal Pride because all of these events are Pride related. They're queer related. So even though we're talking about the show, it still feels like I'm able to celebrate.
Yeah.
And I was just in the LA Pride Parade, which is really nice. And I always forget how many queer people there are.
There's so many.
I'm like, oh, because you hang out with your friends and you're like, yeah, I feel like I know everyone.
Yeah.
And then you go out in the street in the Pride Parade and you're like, holy cannoli.
Yeah.
Not only how many queer people there are, but how many supporters we have too.
Yes. I love that. I think that it was magical. I will say you were in a car in the Pride Parade. I was not. My boyfriend works for Amazon, and so we marched with the Glamazon.
Oh.
And so we got designated as flag bearers.
Oh.
So he and I were just holding these flags, just letting flagography.
Yeah.
And just flagets in full form. Yeah. And it was just so fun. And I will say I got a little emotional at times just because the one in West Hollywood was 2 weekends ago.
Yeah.
And, you just see all these people in all these walks of life. I got emotional with the moms.
Oh, the mom hugs.
Oh, mom hugs.
Every time.
And I was hugging moms. I was just Yeah. And luckily my mom is very supportive of me and everything. But it's just, you get out of the bubble of being comfortable with how good we have it here, and you're just kind of God, there's people out there that are just going through it, and it's just so nice to see that people are embracing. And then we walked by that church on Sunset, and they were outside.
Oh my God! It was.
I know. They were like, "We love you.
We were like,
glad
we
you're
love
here."
you too.
I was like,
Yeah.
It's just it was just such an uplifting experience, and it just put my head in the right place. And especially being here, this is a predominantly straight comedy club. So it's getting to perform is I think one of the few, if not only openly gay people here. It validates. It's a sense of okay, I'm introducing people from all over who probably don't get to see people like me.
No, and that's the thing. Once people that aren't surrounded by gay or queer people all the time meet someone and they feel like they know you. That's why like representation on TV and characters and shows are so important. It's because it is sometimes people's guideposts to knowing someone that is queer. Like that's why Will and Grace was so huge to so much of the country, because the only gay people they knew were Will and Jack.
Right.
And they were their friends. So when Will and Jack went through stuff, they're like, I see that. So then when they met gay people in real life, they're like, wait, it's like, you're like Will or you're like Jack, and we're like,
the worst? Honey, I know.
Please.
Are you more Jack or Will? And I'm like a whack.
Or you're like, you remind me of Jack. You remind me of Will. I'm like, oh, boring or excessive?
Yeah.
Okay. There's really two spectrums.
Together or problematic?
Yeah. But it is really a nice thing to know that is people's introduction to caring about us. So I'm all for it. And, that's why I love Pride, because it's always just a reminder of like, oh, yeah. We do have support.
We do have support. And right now, Hacks, I just love. I mean, obviously, it's my life pretty much. And it's like, you see it, and it's one of the most diverse casts. And I mean, you guys, let's see, I have written down GLAAD Awards. Y'all have been Emmys, Golden Globes, Writers Guild, SAG, like, you're at all of it. And it's just so great. And Queer as Folk, too. We'll get into that in a little bit. But, like, how has Hacks been like for you?
It's so interesting because we started filming during pandemic, so It almost felt like we were like getting away with something, because I mean obviously it was very safe and everything was taken care of, but it felt like at a time where especially like the creative community wasn't allowed to work, like Broadway was shut down, like clubs weren't open. It almost felt like we had this like secret back door to be able to play these characters, so it didn't feel like we were doing work. It just felt like we were part of something that just really exciting, and and getting to work with like Jean Smart.
Yeah, how
like,
is it?
It's, I mean, she is the sweetest, and like, it's gonna sound so cliche to say, but like, she is truly an icon. But
sure,
when we went to her house recently to celebrate Hannah's birthday, Hannah Einbinder, and she brought out towels and put them on a chair. She had a pizza party. She gave us all like little water guns to play in the pool. She is like the kindest mom, and like none of the Hollywood stuff really matters. Right. It's all about being able to do the work, and it's just really a masterclass in how to be on camera and off camera,
and also be a good person and appreciate the work, I think, because I mean Jean Smart, I mean Designing Women, I mean I put Designing Women right there with Golden Girls.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean? And it's just such a southern, she just manners and elegance, and
I mean, and Hacks is like is another example of that kind of woman, that like strong, opinionated, like powerful woman that you would see on like a Golden Girls or Designing Women. Like, it's just, I always say when people ask me about Hacks, I'm like, it's like a gay man's fever dream to be like, oh, this woman is strong, funny, rich, regal. I'm like, that's what we want to see.
Oh, and by the way, this whole episode will be a fever dream. It really will. Like, I think that's the title of this, is just Queer as Fuck Fever Dream. That's what it is. Now, that's incredible, and I love watching all of you guys just bonding together and touring together, different cities, doing press and promo and everything. But Queer as Folk, I mean, that for me, like, was my kind of come to Jesus moment of like, oh, this. I mean, I was fresh out of high school, I believe, when the Showtime show hit.
Yep.
I'm 25.
Yeah.
And I remember just being like, oh, I have never seen this on television. It was like the DVDs, like, and you would like go to your room and watch them and be like,
yeah.
Like, one of my favorite scenes is when he like jerks off with the bully.
Oh my! I just saw that recently. I forgot where it was. I don't know if it was on TikTok or probably Instagram, because Instagram's a little more racy.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, and it was like, I was like, oh, it just was so hot.
So hot. It was so hot. They both were hot. It was Justin and his bully.
Yeah, and he it was so hot.
I know. And you're like, oh.
Yeah, but like seeing that as like a young person was like, it's so funny to be a part of this new version, just because Queer as Folk was such a big part of like understanding that there were people that felt the way that I felt. They were doing it, a couple levels ahead.
Yeah, right.
And part of me was like, is that what I have to look forward to? And is that what I have to look forward to?
Right.
Like both of those sides of the token. But yeah, I mean, Queer as Folk and it's so funny listening to everyone's story and be like, oh yeah, I was watching it with my finger on the back button, ready to, and I'm like, it's crazy how many of us were like,
terrified,
risking it all to see.
I need to know who I am. Yeah, so you're like, Mom, nothing, everything's fine.
It's like Disney Channel.
Yeah, so the original one was set in
Pittsburgh? The original's in Manchester.
Was UK, yeah.
Yeah, and then the second one, the US version, was Pittsburgh.
And this one's set in New Orleans. And you played Noah.
I do, yeah.
And you posted something today on Instagram of like you getting the call that you got the part. Yeah. And how was that?
I mean,
what was going through your head? You're like, well, here we go.
Yeah, well, when I even auditioned for it, it was one of those things where I was like, in this industry, you're like, you have to kind of advocate for yourself first. So I email and texted my agents knowing that they were casting. I was like, I need to read for this somehow, some way. And it's just about being a part of it. But then, after the call back and then finally getting the call like almost a month later, which is like,
oh, isn't it fun?
Oh my gosh. It's like, I'm the kind of person I'm like, just tell me, like, don't make me wait. But alas, this is the biz. But I remember I was walking up Fairfax. I had just left working out with my trainer and I screamed at the top of my lungs.
Oh, that was you.
Very that. And it was like I'm one of those people that's like, if, I'm at a dinner table and people are being too loud, I'm like worried about everyone else around. I'm always like, please. But that was one moment where I was like, I don't give a shit.
Yes.
I'm going to scream because I have never received news this good before.
That's so great.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way around loud people at the dinner table. I'm like, you guys, shut up.
We're not the only ones here.
Oh, I know. Yeah. It's so true. Yeah. So they fly you out to New Orleans. Is that where y'all shot at New Orleans? Yeah.
5-6 months. Yeah.
And this, I am watching it tonight.
Yeah.
But I've been looking at all of the feedback and press, and it starts off with, shooting, because they wanted to kind of reflect, this past weekend was the 6th anniversary of the Pulse shooting.
Yeah.
So, I mean, going into that, I mean, that's pretty heavy. Was that like the first day of shooting? You're just kind of like, all right, well.
Yeah, I mean, we started off with the club stuff very early on. And I mean, even reading the script, it was like, oof, 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 oof. But it also, I remember, how I felt in that time. And I remember wanting people to never forget that something like that happened to us. And I do understand people's, trepidation when it comes to watching something like that because it is triggering. It was triggering, filming it.
Every week is triggering. Yeah. It's happening all the time.
But it is not, I read something today, it was like, it's a mirror of the cultural moment. And to me, that's a little limiting because it's not the cultural moment. Like, violence against queer people has always existed, especially like specifically in New Orleans, there was a fire that was, that was done in a gay bar, the Upstairs Lounge, that 32 people died. And a lot of people don't know that.
Yeah, my friend Blake, there's actually a play about it.
Yeah.
And they did that in Dallas, and I had no idea about it. And yeah, they set fire to this bar while they were in it.
Yeah.
and they all burned.
100%. And a lot of people forget about that because we don't talk about it because it is such a brutal and traumatic moment. So while I do understand, it is rough, I think it's important that we have these conversations and that, we bring light to it because the more we talk about it and the more we see it on TV, in shows, the more it becomes something that we cannot deny that it is happening not only to queer people, but to everyone around the world when it comes to gun violence, but primarily in the United States.
Yeah, it's just so awful. I mean, I remember one of the hardest shows I've ever had to do was the day after Pulse.
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is, about me. But it was like our Pride was the morning after that happened.
Right.
And so there was a gig. Disney had bought out the Laugh Factory on Sunset because their float was right outside.
Yeah.
And I had to be there at like 8 o'clock in the morning. And I remember calling up the Laugh Factory. I'm like, are we still doing this? Is Pride still happening? Like, it's like, it seems insensitive. And they're like, oh no, they're all here and ready to go. And I'm like, okay. And I showed up, and it was just so weird because I was like, is this a cult? Like, because Disney, they're just magic, and and everyone had big smiles on their faces, but yet people were still trying to, like, because Orlando Disney World, so people were checking in on like if any of their employees or friends were there.
Yeah.
And so I had to go up on stage, and like they had breakfast all set up, and I did my job, and I made, everyone laugh. And then at the end, I was like, you know what? Go out there and have the best Pride you've ever had. Hold your head high. We are all in this together. And it was one of the most cathartic experiences because it was just like, wow. And then they were like, do you want to get on the Disney float? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
And it was this huge castle.
Yeah.
And there was choreography and confetti and Disney magic. And it was crazy because I remember we're going down Santa Monica Boulevard, and I'm looking around, and there's just snipers everywhere. I've never seen so many people just like ready.
Yeah.
And we're waving at them like, thank you for being here.
But that is the queer experience. If you think about it, that is a metaphor for what it is to be a queer person in this world. You have to grin and bear everything that you go through and not let it bog you down. But there's constantly, you see the snipers around, you see the protection that we have to have in order to continue living. And, it's not something that we can just ignore. Because I also think we have a responsibility to those not only who have survived traumatic events, the AIDS epidemic, all of these things that queer people go through. I think we have a responsibility, especially as artists, to bring light to those things, because the more that we don't talk about it, the more those people are forgotten. Yeah. And I think it's important to remember them in a respectful way. And that's another thing I want people to remember when watching Queer as Folk, is that it is by queer people for queer people. So while, there's been years and years of exploitation of different marginalized groups by Hollywood, this is us telling our stories in a way that we see, not only to be fit for the time, but for the conversation to go ahead. So I hope people remember that when they watch.
Oh, they will. But I mean, they were going to watch it for the sex scenes. I mean, people are just trash in general. They're like,
yeah. I mean, it can't be Queer as Folk without sex.
I mean,
it's just not. It's part of the lifeblood of the show.
Are the characters kind of similar to the original? Like, are you like the Brian or the? I mean, is that like a thing?
Well, it's interesting because
Brian was the hoe.
Yeah, he sure was. Because I watched it recently, I'm like, oh my, he is not playing games.
I know. And everything was so like, not
matter of fact, like, oh, here it is.
Like in the moment, I was like, they're not even using lube. Like it was just like, I had so many questions.
Yeah. No, I mean, we have similarities in each character to the old characters, which I guess is very queer and relatable, but you can't recreate a Brian Kenny. You can't recreate a Michael Novati. Like those are characters that are iconic in their own way. All you can do is create new characters that you hope people relate to and understand and hate and love. And, and it's funny, I was reading some tweets. They're like, so many of these people are unlikable. I'm like, yeah, that's the point.
They're called people.
Yeah. And then there's some that are like, I'm totally a this person's stan. And, it's just, that's what TV should be. It should be polarizing. It should have conversation starting. And, it's fun just to be a part of it.
And two queer icons, just icons in general, are in it as well. Kim Cattrall.
Juliette Lewis.
And Juliette Lewis. Yeah. I mean, did you work with them at all? Like,
both of them. I mean, not as much as I would have liked to.
I know, right?
But I definitely, they're just. Oh my gosh! When I first met Kim, and I've told this story before, but I gave her Crocs because I bought everyone Crocs for their like start gift. I'm such
Why Crocs?
I don't. Oh, I saw my co-star Finn. They were wearing some like army Crocs, and I was like, should we get these for everyone? And they're like, yeah, let's do it. But I being the like crafts and arts and crafts mom that I am, I was like, what if I got every cast member a different color of the rainbow, and then when we stand in a circle, it'll be like a rainbow. And I'm just such a cornball.
Craft queen.
Very craft queen. I got the little gibbets and put them in.
Oh, you did? I was going to say, did you decorate them?
Yeah. And then for Kim and Juliette, I was like, well, they're so special. So I got them ones that were like full of glitter, just like all glitter. And it was like me just just trying to say, like, thank you to icons for telling these stories, for being a part of Queer as Folk, because, you know, it's not until recently that, like, our shows and our stories have become more popular and more, like, in demand. You know, it would have been, like, in the original Queer as Folk, there was a lot of those characters or the actors were told, don't be a part of that because it's going to kill your career.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, Hal Sparks, like, was straight, and he did it. Yeah. And I thought he was one of the best characters.
Yeah, he was great. And I mean, we needed people like that, but we still need people like Kim and Juliet who have been doing it even, you know, when those shows were on. So it was just so nice to you know, they were very gracious and very sweet, but also to watch them work. It almost feels like, you know, it's like something you would pay for. Like,
oh, right.
You know what I mean? Like masterclasses, Juliette Lewis.
Like Countess Luann's Cabaret. Yeah. That's the, I just want to be there in that moment.
Yeah.
I mean, my God. And you know what? You were saying that. I'm like, you know why they probably did that? Because they know those people.
Yeah.
They know their base. They know their fans. You know, they're like, let's give the kids what they want.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Kim knows that the gays love her. I mean, you know, we're all like, I'm the Samantha. And it's like, babe,
no,
you could never.
You're not. I mean, let's be real. Britney. She played Britney's mom.
Iconic role. I mean,
shuts the door on her face.
And her daughter. She's like, yeah, we're good here.
It's me, Mama Susie.
She's like, what?
Shuts the door.
It's the girl again.
Girl at my door. I've moved on. Get out of here. I'll be in Abu Dhabi.
That was a great Samantha.
Wasn't? Oh, I try. Yeah. I mean, it's been bubbling until this moment, but I can't we have to start with, let's get into the topics for today. Okay. Make sure to check out Queer as Folk on Peacock. Season 2 of Hacks is available now on HBO Max, but let's get into some gay stuff.
Yeah, I love gay shit.
The wedding of the decade happened over the weekend. Britney Spears got married.
Oh, my baby.
I did not know this was coming. I thought it was very, like, out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, it was like, I'm getting married, y'all. Yeah. And it was like, okay, cool, we're here for it. And she got married in Thousand Oaks. I guess she has a house there.
Yeah.
She looked great. Her dress was Donatella Versace. She had a horse-drawn carriage. And that's what I liked about Britney. It was a little, you can take the girl out of Kentwood, Louisiana, but you can't take...
Nope. Never have you ever... Britney is not one. Britney never came into the industry and was like, I'm gonna take over the world. Britney's like, I love my short jean shorts.
Yes.
And I love doing dancing, and I love frappuccinos from Starbucks.
Yes.
And never once batted an eyelash to try and be something that she wasn't.
Right. And like, I mean, shoeless in a public toilet.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I was wondering. I was like, who catered this event? Was it like hot Cheetos and Mountain Dew? Like
that's the wedding I want to go to.
Right.
You know, I mean, I've been to a lot of Hollywood events, and some of the most fun ones are when, you know, the food table is accessible and it's not like, here's a beef stroganoff. I'm like, this is too salty anyway. So just give me a, you know, chicken tender.
The cupcakes have been dusted with gold. I'm like, what? I don't want to eat this.
Yeah.
That sounds expensive.
And you're like, wow, I've come so far.
Yeah. This is a white chocolate fountain. Okay. Yeah.
And also catering so many of those events too, because I did that. Just knowing it's all, once you get back behind the curtain and you see the dishware stacked, you're like, oh, this is garbage. You know?
And then, you know, whatever's not eaten, you got the caterers just like, oh, God, this is my food
Truly,
for the day.
Yeah, same.
I did it.
Shout out to caterers.
Oh, the best was like when I was like, started stand up, it was like, I'd have to still like do those events and stuff, and people were like, did I see you last night at that? I'm like, no, that was my evil twin, Dustin.
I used to do when I used to be a host at a restaurant in New York, very fancy restaurant. There used to be, and I used to do like Instagram skits and videos, and I like amassed a following from that. There would be people that were like, hey, oh my God, I follow you on Instagram. I'm like, your table's right this way.
Oh my God, me too. It was like, oh my God, you were so great last night, wherever you were. And I'm like, more iced tea? Oh, it was the worst.
Yeah, ketchup?
It's so funny because I had one of those moments where with Morgan Stewart when I hosted What the Fashion for E, and like I remember waiting on her, and then like we were together, and I'm like, remember that time when I like waited on you? She's like, was I a bitch? And I'm like, you were a peach.
I think I've waited on her before, and yeah, it was giving dismissive.
Yeah, well, you know what? Shout out to her. Her husband got a vasectomy, so good for her.
Yeah.
You know, cut it. We're done. We did it. But I mean, the pictures that were circulating from this wedding. It was a gay fever dream.
It was.
You had Donatella Versace,
Madonna,
Paris Hilton, Madonna, Britney,
Selena Gomez,
which I was kind of like,
okay,
all right,
yeah,
okay, and then Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I wanted, I was happy, but the only thing that I wanted was Lindsay Lohan to kick the door down and be like, I'm here from Dubai. Let's party.
In her really weird accent.
Right. But I mean, remember that picture of like the three of them in the car, Paris and
Iconic,
Britney? Yes. Yeah. That's what I wanted because we got the kiss.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, all right.
Yeah. We love a art referencing art moment.
A pop reference of just, but at the same time, Madonna took 15 years off Britney's life that day. Just fucking Winifred Sanderson to her face.
Oh my god!
But it was really, really fun. She looks happy.
Yeah. What I loved about the pictures too is that it didn't look like all of these pictures are very staged. It was kind of like, hey, could you stand there and take a photo? And it was just like in the moment. It didn't feel over. It just was so real.
Yeah, she had different outfits.
Yeah.
I think she even said that she wore like a diamond thong.
I see that for her. Yeah. I mean, she's the woman that was in full diamonds all over her body for the Toxic video.
But a thong?
Yeah. I mean I'm sure she's worn a lot more uncomfortable things.
I mean, I'm excited. You know, she had different outfit changes. It looked really, really fun. So I'm happy for her. She signed a prenup.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Honey, after 14 years, if there's one thing Britney knows, it's to take care of herself.
I know.
You know what I mean? I think that's one of the things, like Britney's she's always been like this humble, like loving person that those are the people that horrible people take advantage of. But it's funny, I read a caption of a picture that she put and she's like, this is me remembering who I am or something like that. I was like, good for you.
I know. And that's what I want. I want a revenge album. I need angry Britney.
Yeah.
She has her license now.
Yeah.
She can drive.
Yeah.
You know, I want, like none of her family was invited.
No. They had to see it on Instagram like the rest of us.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, girl. So Dad's not invited.
No.
Her brother, I think, might have missed it or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Jamie Lynn, she's like, who? Oh, I have a sister.
She's writing a book about not being invited.
Wait, no, wait, Jamie Lynn wrote the book, but now Britney's, I think, writing her own book about like what's going on.
Yeah.
And then her ex-husband crashed it. It was such a whirlwind.
Crazy.
Like, shows up before the wedding and he's like, I'm crashing this wedding. And I'm like, sir, January 6th was like months ago. You can't just like...
Oh my God,
he
that's
was
right.
in it.
Yeah, that's right.
And like just shows up.
Just cruising for a bruising.
God, it's so bonkers. So they're happy.
Yeah.
Sam looks great.
Always.
I hope they give it another go for a baby.
Yeah. And if not, then the baby maybe could be the album. It's so gay to say like we want Britney to do more music, but like we do. I can't lie and say like, if she goes away forever and lives up in the mountains, like good for her. Mm-hmm. Good for her, sure. But like a goodbye album maybe? Or
no, we can't say goodbye album.
I don't want to say goodbye, but she looks pretty happy.
She looks great. And that was like, I was like, of course she's getting married during Pride Month. She knew exactly what she was doing. Yeah. She's like, no, I wanted a June wedding. I'm like,
Remember when she said at the LGBTQ plus? Or was it that?
What did she say? What did she say?
I think she was like, thank you to my friends at the LGBT.
At the LGBTQ. Yes, like we're an organization.
Britney's like one of the only people that anything she says, I'm like, yes, go off.
Yeah. I mean, this was like the gayest week ever because another person that wasn't invited was Christina Aguilera. Mm-hmm. Now, I was like, damn it, I wish she could have done it, but no, because Christina actually headlined Pride.
She did.
Did you go? You didn't go, did you?
I didn't go.
No, you were busy.
Just a bit busy, but I did see. I was living. I follow Chris Horan, her stylist, And, you know, it's funny, he had posted something recently about like a dildo.
Oh.
And it was, and I was like, oh, I wonder what this is about. And lo and behold, here we have it.
And here she is. She whipped out a glittery green strap-on for her LA Pride performance.
Yes.
I mean, but she gave Dirty. She gave Beautiful.
Car Wash, which she's never performed live before.
Walking at the car wash. Oh, because that's a gay anthem. Good for her. Good for her. Yeah. She had Maya join her on stage for Lady Marmalade. Which I was like, damn, if she had gotten Pink and Lil' Kim.
Yeah. Oh, that would have,
everyone would have exploded. Yeah. But here was what everyone was talking about. Christina Aguilera put on a provoc. Oh, sure. It should have been wildly provoc. I think they meant provocative performance.
Yeah.
She brought out Paris Hilton. So Paris Hilton took an Uber from Britney's wedding to Christina Aguilera's Pride performance.
How lucky is she?
God.
Can you imagine saying like, oh, on Saturday I've got Britney's wedding during the day and then I got to go over to Christina's Pride. What?
I know. Who are you? I'm Paris Hilton. She did Stars Are Blind.
I mean, yes.
So, but she was joined by Kim Petras on stage to do Triple X.
Yeah.
Her song. I don't think I know that one.
It goes XXX.
Oh yes. Yes. Is it called XXX or Triple X?
It's full either
dad
way
over here. Full dad. What's the song? XXX? Triple X?
Triple X. Either way.
And she put on this like full on She-Hulk bedazzled.
That's what I want She-Hulk.
Did you see it?
I did. Yeah. I'm obsessed with it. It's like, it's sexy, it's feminine, and also has like this strength to it. And the bedazzled dildo is just like the like cherry on the top of the cake.
I mean, it is. John, can we like go down and like look at the picture? Like, look, a little further.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh yeah, she's like full green Hulk
and like
dog.
And also not seeing it reminded me, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the girl who came out with Dirty, who like at a time where it was like only good to be squeaky clean, she was like, oh no, I'm gonna be nasty. So like it was like almost a return to form for her.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, she was like, who is that girl? Like she went from like Genie in a Bottle to like Chaps. Like that David LaChapelle video, Dirty, is so everything. So and then she's like, you know what? I'm going to wear a dong. And it's Pride. And people were like, this isn't family friendly. And I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, that's. We need more dongs at Pride.
But then it was like Kim Petras was like jerking it off and licking it and all that stuff. So everyone was like,
well, I mean, that is, and I also love that Kim Petras was there because she's a pop star in and of, in her own right. So like, and she's like trans, and having one of the biggest pop stars in the world be like, come on stage with me is just, I'm sure was like amazing for her. But then watching what they do, I mean, when you do stuff like that on stage, you're like, how can we really get the crowd excited? And I know that, like, playing with the dildo that's obviously there, you don't want it to be the elephant in the room. You want it to be a part of the conversation.
The dildo or Christina's the elephant in the room? I was so stoked that she was there. I'm bummed that I missed it.
Yeah.
But it was truly, truly iconic, because I thought, and I think Kim Petras is kind of doing that same thing.
Yeah.
Where I love the song Malibu.
Yeah.
Like very like, and then it was like,
treat me
throat
like a slut.
goat.
Yeah.
This is slut pop, and I'm like, I have to be in bed by 8.
Yeah. She's like, we contain multitudes, darling. God. And what I love about it too is that like, it's not for people that. It's not for. Does that make sense? Like, I remember being at Coachella and watching Kim Petras and being just like in a crowd of gays and being like, treat me like a slut. Then and just, it was just so exciting, even though the lyrics are kind of disgusting. But I don't know. It felt really community driven.
See, and that's where I'm at. I'm trying, like, as I get older, I'm just kind of like, this is unheard of. Yeah. And then I'm like, you know what? I listened to Peaches.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to, like I'm trying to remember like who else was like scandalous. I mean, Lil' Kim.
Yeah. I mean, Genuine with Pony. Like, yeah. But it's not an innuendo anymore. It's just like, spit in my mouth, but with like a fun beat.
And everyone's like, she's got a point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what, and that's also art because we're living in a post-COVID world, ish.
Yeah.
So everyone's like, yeah, I miss the good old days of spitting in someone's mouth. Call me old-fashioned, but. All right, guys, it is Father's Day on Sunday. Treat your dad to some clean balls with fucking good soap for dirty mouths and clean bodies. Stop using bad soap. You deserve some fucking good soap from fuckinggoodsoap.com. It started in 2018 in Portland, Oregon with its purpose in mind to create the best bar of soap ever made and give Big Soap the middle finger while doing it. FGS is not just the name of the company. It's a promise. It's handcrafted in small batches. It contains only 7 natural organic ingredients and start at $7 each. Choose from incredible scents including ginger lime, the man bar, cucumber melon, fuck boy. You heard that right. It smells like Abercrombie and Fitch Woods. I love it. Trust me, it's worth it. Midnight Tryst. It's not responsible for any child support payments you may incur after using. Support a small business, smell fucking good, feel fucking good, and fuck some shit up. Go to fuckinggoodsoap.com and use the promo code JUST, J-U-S-T, for 10% off your entire order. That's just for 10% off your entire order. Happy Father's Day. Oh, daddy. Well, here's somebody that we can't get out of our mouths. Amber Heard.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you heard about Amber Heard.
How could I not?
I know, it's everywhere. And I haven't even I didn't cover any of the trial or anything because I was like, whatever, I don't care. But she went on the Today Show with Savannah Guthrie.
Yeah.
And everyone's kind of worried about her because they're like, so what did the lawyers, how do you think the lawyers did? She's like, well, all those lawyers made everyone believe that their client had scissors for hands.
What?
And and Savannah was like, what? So she was like, she said that. Everyone's like, you mean the movie Edward Scissorhands that he was in? So today, it was announced that she was cut completely from Aquaman 2.
Oh.
And we were trying to figure this out before you got here because it said that she was only going to be in like 20 minutes or 10 minutes or 5 minutes or something just because she's the new Joan Crawford. She's box office poison. And so this came out from People Magazine that she has been cut out.
Oh, wow.
But now she's responding that she was not dropped from the movie. She's like, the rumor mill continues as it has from day one. Oh. Inaccurate, insensitive, and slightly insane.
Oh.
Which I think that's her like Tinder profile.
Oh my god!
But I don't know. It makes me not want to watch Aquaman 2 now. Which was?
Were you gonna watch it?
It was slim already. Like I was like, like Jason Momoa.
Yeah.
Yes, but I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
But also, I was like, I was there for Nicole Kidman as like the queen of the ocean.
Nicole can heartbreak feels. What is it?
Heartbreak feels good in a place like this. They played the whole thing. I went and saw Lost or Dominion last night, and they played the whole thing, and I was just like, "Oh wow, we're back!
We're back!"
Oh, just her in a pantsuit with a heel in a puddle.
Someone was saying recently, they're like, "I can't wait to see all the Nicole Kidmans for Halloween." I was like, "Oh, that's actually." I think it was Trixie Mattel that was saying that.
Probably, she would say that.
But like, it's so true.
She's probably like saying that she's dressing up as Nicole Kidman for Halloween. Yeah. You know why? Because it's June, and that's how we plan things.
We do.
We're ready to go for October.
It's very quick.
It'll be fall already. So I don't know. I'm not really here for Amber Heard, but we're gonna stick to queer icons.
Yeah.
Kylie Minogue.
Ooh.
Which Kylie Minogue to me had the best album of last year. The disco album.
Oh my gosh, so good.
So good.
Just pumping through the street listening to that.
And you know what? I'm really excited that disco is kind of making this cool comeback. Mm-hmm. Like, you had Kylie Minogue last year. You have do you have a song of the summer yet?
Not yet, no.
Not yet?
No.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah, I'd love.
I wrote it down. Follow Me. There's a song called Follow Me. Okay. Hold on. Pause. Because I have to find the artist. It's so good.
Did you hear it recently?
Mm-hmm. It was on this Now That's What I Call Gay playlist on Spotify.
Oh, that's right. That's how I'd listen to all my music. Like
me
those
too.
Curated Spotify playlists.
Oh, it's not Uncle Cracker. Get out of here.
Imagine.
Follow Me. Let me see. Follow Me, gay song.
Watch it not be called Follow Me. Watch
It's
you be
totally
like someone's mom.
Got it. Okay. Here we go. We'll go back. Here we go. The song is called Follow Me by Pablo Vittar.
Oh.
You know this?
I mean.
It's just like very Miami.
Yeah. Yes.
It's got a... Hold on. Let's get to the chorus. We might have to cut this. Wait for it.
Oh, we gotta build. Yeah.
And here's
you know
the
it's
challenge.
good when you're biting down on your lip. Like,
Oh,
yeah.
I always bite when I bite down on my lip. It's legit. Now that song, I've like, our listeners, like, if anybody knows music, here is the mashup: "Work Bitch" and "Follow Me," because that chorus is like, here comes the big beat, big beat disaster.
Yeah.
So I'm calling dubs on "Follow Me, Bitch" as the song of the summer. Also, Lizzo, we'll talk about in a little bit. Lizzo's "About Damn Time" Purple Disco Machine remix.
Oh, so good. I actually saw Purple Disco Machine over Memorial Day weekend at Red Rocks in Denver, and they played the Lizzo remix. It was it's one of those things that's just, and I also saw Pablo Vittar at Coachella. She was like, she just talked about how she was the first drag queen to ever perform.
Oh, she's a drag queen?
Yeah.
Had no clue.
Yeah. She's a Brazilian. She's huge in Brazil. And she's got such a big following, and I'm just happy that she's like, making the rounds over here because we need shit like that.
No shit.
Yeah.
Like Veneno vibes.
And it was like the dancing was there, the hair flipping was there. It was all, and the mic was on, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It was a full guy. Like seeing Kim Petras and also seeing Pablo Vittar at Coachella and like Honey Dijon, it was like, oh, I'm so happy that like queer people are getting their due.
Yeah, well, your Pose sister MJ Rodriguez performed at Pride. Yeah. Like she has a single and is just like, let's let everyone have it. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, and it's funny because I've known MJ even before Pose. We did like off-Broadway shows, an off-Broadway show together, and knowing what she's always had and knowing that now she gets to do it on a stage with the hair and the fringe and the outfits is just like, oh, good for her. And she's so good.
Yeah, I saw some of the clips that she posted from Pride, and I was like, damn, all right. Like, she's going at it. It's hair. And
It's what we deserve.
But back to Kylie Minogue, who today also announced that she has a rosé line coming out.
Ooh. Yes. She knows her audience.
My game heart is full. Oh, she's got 3 rosés coming out. And I cannot wait to drink all of them so I can't get that hangover out of my head. So this was a story that came out like years ago. Kylie Minogue said that blocking Kylie Jenner from trademarking her name was something that had to be done.
It did.
Right?
Yeah.
Because let me see. So back in 2017, the pop star successfully managed to prevent the youngest member of the Jenner clan, Kylie Jenner, from trademarking their shared name. Mm-hmm. She went off and was just like, this is not happening. The legal battle started in 2015. Mm-hmm. She filed an application to trademark the name for advertising and endorsement services. Now, the reason I brought this up was because that Kylie is coming out with Kylie Minogue wine.
Yeah.
And I was like, if Kylie Jenner comes out with a Kylie Jenner wine, because Kendall came out with tequila.
That's right. 818.
Have you had it?
I like it.
You do? I drank that whole bottle. Was like, I'm not buzzed.
Maybe I liked it because it was like, usually, I mean, I like a sweet tequila, and that's how it felt.
A reposado.
But yeah, I actually do like it.
It's okay. It's all right. But I was like, there's better ones out there, you know?
Like what? Hornitos?
Yeah, no, a salsa or no, Cazadores, Casamigos.
Ooh, yeah,
that's always, and I'm really into mezcal right now. Really, I can't name one, but I'm into it. There's a little mezcal bar on Santa Monica, which is great.
Vanessa Hudgens, I'm really into voguing right now. Really into mezcal.
Good old Vanessa, who's just killing it everywhere she goes to.
Yeah.
So yeah, Kylie Jenner was just like, no. Kylie Minogue. Oh God.
You
see. That's
why
the problem. She was like, I don't want people to be confused. I'm Kylie Minogue.
I was here first.
Yeah. And I'm here for that. I want divas to to pull what's her name? The senator. Maxine Waters.
My God.
Maxine Waters. We'll cut that time out.
Yeah.
Maxine Waters reclaiming my time.
Yeah.
Yes, that's where it's at. So very excited that Kylie Minogue is just
reclaiming my name.
Reclaiming my
Kylie
name.
Minogue.
Reclaiming my time.
Yeah. Good.
Okay. Now, speaking of Lizzo.
Yeah.
Did you see this story?
Oh, yes, I did.
I have to read this one because it was a little. I think it came out last night. So on Monday, disappointed Lizzo fans stormed Twitter to call out the rapper's use of the ableist word spaz. Do you see this shit? I'm a spaz in her song Girls.
Yeah.
And Lizzo's prompt response should serve as a lesson to all public personalities on how to respond when you do something controversial or inadvertently hurt people.
Right.
And people came after her, was like, Lizzo, my disability, cerebral palsy, is literally classified as spastic diplegia. Your new song makes me pretty angry. And so in less than 24 hours, Lizzo had replaced the lyric with, do you see this shit? Hold me back. It was a very small change that showed that she gives a shit about the disability community and listens to their feedback. Easy peasy. Yeah. Celebs take note. And she released this whole statement. I'm going to read it to you real quick. Let me make one thing clear. I never want to promote derogatory language. As a fat black woman in America, I've had many hurtful words used against me, so I understand the power words can have, whether intentionally or, in my case, unintentionally.
Yeah.
I'm proud to say there's a new version of Girls with a lyric change. Lizzo posted a note on Twitter. This is the result of me listening and taking actions. As an influential artist, I'm dedicated to being part of the change I've been waiting to see in the world. And just like that, fans got to breathe a sigh of relief as they wouldn't have to cancel one of their faves. Now, I did not know that.
Yeah. I didn't know that either.
And that's my problem.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, as a comedian, we're allowed to get up there and, I know what words not to say, but I feel like everything now, especially with slang and...
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like that's such a 80s, 90s, like, don't be such a spaz, It's like, oh, no, like, that's like I had no clue.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying it in reference to
totally
the lyric of the
don't
song.
Cancel me.
God.
No, but that is really, I think that where we're going as far as like taking ownership and like, I think Lizzo fans understand that she didn't mean any hurt by it. But then you have, like this article says the, Sia thing about how she had a movie about a kid with autism.
Yeah, and Maddie Ziegler played it.
Correct.
Yes.
And it didn't fare well for her. And instead of saying, okay, we'll either change the casting or we'll apologize, it was like, well, that's the movie that we're making. And it's like, celebrities have to understand that they do have a responsibility to make sure that they're putting out the best message that they can. And I don't think, people talk about comedy all of a sudden and where the line is and this, that, and the other. And it's not that you can't toe the line or push boundaries. It's when you hear the feedback and, especially if it's a marginalized community like the disabled community,
right?
Like the trans community when it comes to certain comedians that I won't name, it's just, it's just nice to like listen to someone that's marginalized and say, hey, you know what? Actually, I could, because it's all about creative art and like, even your act, you're not doing the same act that you did a year or 2 years ago. I mean, maybe you are.
Oh God, if I am.
I mean, you've got the jokes that work.
Yes,
but
yeah.
At the same time, like you're always moving forward, and society is always moving forward. Like the stuff that we said in the 90s.
Oh my God.
Like we don't say stuff like that anymore, and that's because we learn and we grow as a community, and we see more people for who they are. So I think it's nice that Lizzo's just like, oh, cool, changed it. And it wasn't like, she didn't make it about herself.
Right.
Because there's a lot. She's an artist. She's rich now. She's got the space to live life comfortably. But then there are people out there that don't and, want to see themselves respected, because the disabled community, we do live in a very ableist world. And I say ableist shit all the time that I'm like, so
take it back. Yeah. I know. And that's the thing too, because I feel like you're kind of... The thing that bothers me about like social media and stuff, social media is when you do make a mistake, it's like people will immediately just Gaga, and you're like, wait, hold on. I didn't, mean it that way. I didn't like, maybe it was out of context or something. Like, you hear about the people who get on SNL, and then they have to like go and like scrub their entire Twitter from like years. Every now and then some Facebook notification popped up from like 2008 on mine, and I was like, oh God, A, this was not funny, and B, like, what are you doing?
But I think a lot of that stuff is a reflection of not only the time that you lived in or live in, but like how you felt. Like I used to write on Facebook a lot of fat phobic shit because I felt internal shame about gaining weight or eating and binging. And then seeing what I would say about like fat people was like, oh, I was really hurt and like unhealed, and also a part of a world that saw fat people as less than, and it's taking all of those things into account. But I think also when you are called out, also we like to call it called in, it's important to listen rather than become immediately defensive, because that is human nature is to become defensive. But on the other side of that token, there are people out there, I always say, waiting in the wings for you to do something or say something.
Oh, for sure.
Because they don't like you. They've never liked you.
And they will never,
They've
ever
always
like
hated you.
Yes.
And as soon as they have like a moral cause that they can get behind and hide behind that to say, oh, this is why I hate you. This, because you said this. I'm like, no, babe. That's one of the things I do miss about the old days of someone saying, oh, I don't like her. Why? Oh, I don't know. I just don't like her. It's like, while that's annoying, it's like, at least I can respect a person that says, oh, I don't like you, rather than, well, it was that one time that you said the thing. I'm like, there are well-intentioned people to call you in, and then there's the people that just don't like you and want.
Yeah, or they're jealous and they just want to like use your own words against you when you know for a fact that they were sitting next to you that day at brunch and talking the same shit, and you were like, oh, really? Now?
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because, classic, like, we like to build people up to tear them down. Like, I remember recently I got so angry because, Billy Porter is an icon, like a true Broadway legend, and now, a fashion god. It went from people living, like being on Twitter and see people living for Billy, and then all of a sudden people just are like, oh, I see him too much. He does too much on the red carpet. He wears too much. And I'm like, it's crazy to me how quickly people like the fickle people are when it comes to celebrities and people that we admire, and how if they see them too much, all of a sudden, like Anne Hathaway, remember? It's like, I just want to punch her because she's in everything. I'm like, she's
working. Yeah, she's got bills to pay.
And then she like goes away for a little bit, and everyone's like, oh, I missed her. I'm like, y'all are crazy.
Exactly. I mean, and that's what I say. It's like, as an entertainer, as someone who's worked with and idolized like people like Joan Rivers and these kind of sarcastic, tongue-in-cheek, like it's a character, it's a joke, you know what I mean? It's like, I don't really wish this upon anybody. It's just, I say whatever's on the top of my head, and sometimes that's not what people want to hear. So it's a way of like trying to edit yourself, right, but yet go with it. But also, then if you're too woke, then you're too woke.
But also, like, you can read, like, Joan always got away with what she said because she was a kind woman. She didn't have a malicious bone in her body, and Joan was also,
she had no bones in her body. She had not one bone, just all filler.
And she was the first one to call that out. She was the first one to drag herself. So I think Joan, there's always that age-old question of like, would Joan have been able to survive in this time? And I think she would have, because she was always moving with the times. You know what I mean? Whereas a lot of male comedians, straight male comedians, are like, people just don't know how to take a joke anymore. Like, no, baby, you just got too famous and you don't care to, and also you're rich and you hang out with rich people, and like, you're not as funny as you used to be, because what used to make you relatable or funny was the relatability, and like, that's why I'm like, don't hole yourself up in a mansion. Like,
I mean, you didn't name names, but but it's like, that's the thing. It's like, take the note.
Yeah. Take the note.
Take the note.
Yeah.
And that's what kills me, is you're just kind of like, you keep seeing the behavior and you're like, come on.
Yeah. And it's not to say that these people are bad people.
No.
But you continue to do not nice things, and then, that's where everyone's like, I'm done.
Yeah. It wears people out. And people who continue to do not nice things, like these assholes. I don't know if you heard this story. There was an Idaho Pride event this past weekend, and 31 members of riot gear-clad white supremacists, Patriot Front, were arrested at the Pride event. They were all in the back of a U-Haul, and we're told, and they were all like, "Hey, we're gonna go riot an Idaho Pride." Now, I went through, what do all these guys have in common? You ask.
They've never been laid.
Never been laid is one. You got one right. There's three of them.
Yeah.
Two is
these pictures.
Inbred.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this fourth one on this bottom second row.
Yeah.
I mean, full Cro-Magnon.
It's giving Neanderthal for
sure. Never been laid, never been kissed.
Yeah.
They all play a game of I've never done this before at home with themselves. And 3, full bush.
Yeah.
They all just full.
Not a penis in sight.
Daddy long legs in a corner with the porch light on. Like, it is like the second one from the fourth is like Willow Pills, like angry, like alt-right brother.
Yeah.
It's just insane. So these guys have all been arrested for inciting violence at a Pride event. And it's just, this is what scares me, because going back to what we were talking about earlier with like the Pulse shooting and everything, this is how it all starts.
Yep.
And it's like, what would have happened had that U-Haul not been stopped?
Yeah.
And it reminds me of that Pride where, I don't know if you remember this or heard about this, where the Pride Parade was happening here in LA, and they stopped a guy who had like ammunition and guns all in the back of his trunk, and he was driving from the town of Santa Monica to West Hollywood, and they stopped him. That's what's sad. It's scary.
Yeah, these people are, it's just, it's really sad and angering, because, us existing and just being in celebration of ourselves gets people so angry that they want to hurt us or incite violence against us. And it's just like, babe, if you just went to therapy
masturbate. Something.
It's just, and it's funny because you these people probably get online and they see all of this stuff, and they see, I don't want to call out any companies, but I feel like some Facebook and like these companies that allow things like this to happen, these like Facebook groups and things like that, like this, it's like a chain reaction. And I think it's important that we talk about it, because one, like the fact that they got into a U-Haul, like, oh, honey,
how lesbian is that? How
like
lesbian?
Trying to come for us by using our culture.
I know. Yeah.
Classic.
Wait. This is a funny story. This actually happened to me on Thursday. I was walking down Sweetser with my boyfriend. We are not holding hands. We literally came back from like Gelson's or Trader Joe's or something. Yeah. Walking down Sweetser, and we hear this like behind us, and I look back, and it's this guy on a bicycle. Yeah. And he's just like, "You fucking faggots!" Da, da, da. And I'm like, it took me out of my body, because I was like, "Do you not know where you are?
You're in my hood, baby.
My town." And he just kept going, and I yelled back at him, and I'm very like controversial when it comes to Justin. Don't say anything. And my boyfriend's like, "Shh, Justin, no." And I'm like, "Thank you." Like, I just said that. Yeah. And it fueled him even harder. And I was like, oh, shit. He's got to come back. Luckily, I had a glass Topo Chico bottle. And I was ready to just be like, try it, bitch.
Happy
like, ready. Right. Happy Pride.
You do a brand deal with Topo Chico.
Yeah, right. Sink Topo Chico sparkling water. Whatever. You get hate crimes. But it fueled him even more. But the funny thing is that he got more riled up, and I was waiting for him to like spin back around on his bike, or the bike he stole. I don't know. And he's looking back, and as he's looking back, yelling, there's a bus that stops right in front of him, and I'm like, oh God, here it comes. I was ready, and he sees it before he slams into the back of it, and then he goes in front of the bus and he starts yelling at the bus, and I'm like, oh, you're just a messy person.
Yeah.
But God, that would have been the best pride, just getting like homophobic slurs banned in the back of a bus. Yes. God, that would have been amazing. Yeah. I was ready for it. Yeah, but these guys, it just needs to stop. It's just like,
yeah, I'm sorry you're mad. Like, and I don't know what else to say. Like, I apologize that
you're mad.
Your life, that you took the time out of your weekend to be like, you know what we're going to do?
Right.
Like, babe, they're rainbow flags. They're not hurting anyone.
That's what I'm saying.
Also, they probably, I don't want to ever call like a homophobe gay, because I hate that correlation. But like, I don't know any straight man that is very comfortable in his sexuality that gives that much of a shit about gay people. Like,
it says a lot.
It's giving fan.
It is giving
just
fan.
Say you're a fan
just
of
say
us.
You're a fan. I see more anti-gay people at pride parades.
Yeah.
Like, and I was a little sad because, the people who are usually there being like, God hates fags.
Yeah.
There was only like 2 this year.
Yeah. And
then I was like, where do they all go? And I was like, oh, well.
Oh, no. I know what you're saying.
They probably thought.
Oh, yeah. It got him.
It got him. We got him, Joe. I was like, oh, they weren't. Got it.
Yep.
But even then, I was just like, we all waved at him, and they're like, no. I'm like, God, get out of here.
And that's the thing. Like, sometimes you just have to meet it with love and be like, thanks for coming out. Like, I remember there was one video that's circulated online of like, I was at a Portland Pride and there were guys shouting with signs, and I was like, oh, and I remember like there was a lot of allies with us, and they were scared. I could tell they were scared because this doesn't happen to non-queer people the way it happens to us. So I was like, they're not going to ruin our day, and I just started like voguing and dancing in front of them.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and it was just like taking the power back of like, you're not going to get in our way. I'm sorry. Yeah, and that's the message.
They're just jealous. You can't sit with us.
Yeah, very that.
But you can.
You can if you want to.
If you want to.
We're very fun and we're very accepting, and but not when you're doing all that.
Because, and this is the thing, I think, gay, straight, whatever, we're all at the end of the day, we're people, Some of us have great sex. Some of us have bad sex.
Some of us don't have sex.
What?
Not me. But,
I was going to say, like, what?
Yeah.
Some of us, but yeah, this guy, this was a story that I thought was interesting. A man shares his massive list of reasons his wife gives for not having sex and gets roasted for it.
Oh my God.
This TikTok guy, I guess we could share his handle at Joe_Dre.
Yeah.
He's like, don't share my handle. Shared a video that revealed a long list of reasons his partner had given him over a period of time. Her first excuse was that they did it, quote, last week. The next was that she, quote, wanted to cuddle. Oh. And the third was that she, quote, felt bloated. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Others involved their bedding, which, honey, you can help with that.
Yeah.
And she seemed keen to avoid sex on days it had just been washed.
Yeah.
Okay. She felt fat. She was too tired.
Yeah.
Her back hurt. She had no energy. Or she wasn't keen if it was too early or too late. The room temperature, it was too hot or too cold. Or he was too drunk. Or simply, this is my favorite, the kids.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like throwing his wife under the bus that stopped in front of my homophobic rant bicyclist the other day. And he's like trying to come after his wife, but everyone said, this is my favorite. One person replied with, it's not her, it's you.
Yeah. Yeah, she's like trying to be nice and saying like, you're not good at this.
No, this is the husband.
No, but I think my read on this is that she's saying these things. One, she probably does feel a lot of these things a lot of the time, but it sounds like she's probably doing a lot of the work. Yeah. And she's tired of not being fulfilled. And so when someone, it really shows how non-self-aware someone is when they think, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make a TikTok of why my wife doesn't want to sleep with me. It's going to go so well for me.
You're a dad. That's what I think is, yeah. How about like less making a list of why your wife won't have sex with you and posting it on TikTok, and make a grocery list. Like, let me help my wife pick up the kids from practice today.
She'd throw her top off if that were the case. Oh, honey, actually, let me wash the dishes. Excuse me?
I'm wet. Yeah, like that's what I think is like.
Truly.
Hey, maybe like carry a little bit of the weight.
Yeah.
But also like, all you have to do now is probably like search that guy's last name to find out who the wife. Oh, this is divorce. I think this is not going to end well, because now she's like, really? You fucking made a viral TikTok? Great.
If I were her, I'd be like, you see?
Right. Yeah. See? Yeah, read the comments, honey. Good night.
Yeah, exactly.
Just rolls over. Turn the lights out, please. Oh, you're on the couch again.
She's like, I didn't know you had a humiliation kink, dear.
God. Well, maybe he needs to sign up for this, because this fascinated me, because the hit show Squid Game, which I love. Did you watch it?
Of course.
So fun.
Yeah.
That's I'm so proud I can do that voice. But I don't know. I feel like if people were like, oh, you can't. I'm like, it's a killer doll. Netflix, they announced that they're doing season 2, which we all kind of knew was going to happen. And now they've announced that they're doing a real life Squid Game with a cash prize of $4.5 million, and it wants players to sign up.
Wow. And the contestants of RuPaul's Drag Race are like, how much money?
Right. But also, do they not know how Squid Game went down?
Yeah.
Because I've got some Proud Boys that I would gladly enlist to play this game. Like, that's... Yeah. I don't get it.
The insurrectionists, this is their doom. They have to perform Squid Games.
Oh, that would be it.
Yeah.
That would be it. Oh, my God. But I mean, I'm here for this. I'll definitely watch anything Squid Game. I think but they're gonna have like bungee cords and all that kind of stuff. This was like
obviously going to happen, because watching it as a viewer, all you can think about is if you would be able to.
No, there's no way. I'd be done at the cookie round. Like I would get that umbrella cookie, and I'd be like, oh, this is cute. Yeah. Or I'd be like in the running one. I think I could do the running one. I love how I played it out. I was like, I could do this, but the glass ceiling one.
Oh, yeah, that one was really scary.
That one's scary. Yeah, that one's so scary. Yeah. But I'm here for season 2.
Or the rope pulling, tug of war.
Was that not it? No.
No, that was another one.
That was the one where they.
But like that one, you have to rely on the other people. Like I'm good at working alone. It's when I'm in a group,
like a group challenge.
Yeah, I enjoy being the leader, because I'm like, okay, I like to hear everyone's point of view and da da da. But when your life depends on other people pulling their weight, literally.
God, it's so scary, because then you're all up for elimination, literally.
Yeah.
Are you watching Drag Race All Stars 7?
Of course.
God, do you have a fan, or like who are you rooting for?
I love them all.
This is the best season ever.
It's so fun to watch.
It's so fun
because everyone is so good. But I just watched the improv one, and Jinx is just she's just otherworldly when it comes to how quick she is, how funny she is, her confessionals, just all of the stuff. And she's not a look queen, but watching her go down the runway wearing stuff that says Jinx Monsoon feels so good. She's never not surprising me.
They all do. And I mean, I think her runway, especially with like the butterfly veil and everything, I'm just like, what? But I mean, Raja, like, happy birthday, Raja.
Oh, happy birthday.
It's her birthday today. But like, just being able to step it up and be like, I'm a look queen. I'm also like making people laugh.
Yeah.
Stepping out of her bubble. And I just love that they're not like going home.
Yeah.
Because they've all won.
Yeah. I mean, it's disrespectful to say it, to send a winner home, in my opinion, because they did do the damn show.
They did do
what I mean?
Yeah, they did. Who do you think who do you think is going to win it?
Oh gosh. I don't know. I really don't. It could be anyone's game, to be honest. I feel like and Monet's actually amazing too, and I feel like she's so good at playing the game. But I mean, Shay, Jinx, Monet, but I feel like the Vivian is a sleeper.
Really?
I really do. I feel like don't sleep on the Vivian. She is eating it up.
I love that she's just like the horny one. Like every joke she makes is about sex, and she's like, I like 2 fingers in my butt. Wink. And you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
But we got a couple more stories, and then we will let you go back into the wild. You were a busy boy. Joker 2 was announced, and Lady Gaga is in early talks to join Joaquin Phoenix. It is going to be a musical sequel.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, I didn't know that part.
Did you see Joker?
I did see Joker.
Really dark.
Yeah, very, very dark. And yeah, it was just very like, oh, poor Joker. What? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it was also like it was an origin story, but it was a dark thriller. Like it was very violent. It showed like spoiler alert if you haven't seen Joker, you see Bruce Wayne and his family outside the theater because of course it's a Batman movie. I feel so bad for Bruce Wayne's parents. Like every damn Batman movie, they're like, can we just not go to the theater? Like that would be great. We appreciate the Tony Awards. Shout out to J Hud for getting an EGOT.
Yes.
But, like it's always so dark, you know. It's so much. He went onto that talk show and with Robert De Niro and like shot him on the air.
Oh, that was wild. Yeah.
But yeah, she's in talks to play Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Which I thought Margot Robbie was Harley Quinn.
Oh.
And that's DC as well.
Uh-huh.
And we were all like, oh, we're gonna get Margot Robbie in Joaquin, but now they're like, Lady Gaga's in talks to play Harley Quinn.
Yeah. In this universe.
I didn't ask for a psycho. That's I mean, that's what I'm waiting for.
Listen.
Stupid Love, that could be in it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I feel like it's just when I read that I was like, that makes sense. Like
right?
it just worked.
But I feel like Lady Gaga would be like Harley Quinn on like Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want her playing.
You know what? You know that clip of Lady Gaga where they're like, "What's one thing that you would do if there were no repercussions?" And she's like, "Die." Like that's the Harley Quinn right there. You know what I mean? Like all of those old Gaga videos where she was just like, yeah, like that is Harley
so
Quinn.
Weird.
You know, like just so campy.
Well, wasn't there a thing where there was an interview where they thought that like some rumor went around that she had a penis or something, and she was yeah, you want to see it or something like that?
Yeah,
like,
she just played with like
shit.
Yeah.
But I'm here. I'll watch a Lady Gaga Harley Quinn musical. I want to,
and that's honestly the only way that the musical version of this would work. I think if Lady Gaga had her claws in it,
or if they do some weird multiverse where like Margot Robbie's in it and Lady Gaga, and they're like, who? What? Why
that
are you
Spider-Man
here?
meme where they're like pointing at
exactly. And then of course I have to close with this because I am from Texas, and this shit gets me going. The Chupacabra, also known as Lindsay Lohan at Britney Spears' wedding. This video, or this picture rather, was all over the internet this week of an unidentified Amarillo object. Amarillo, Texas, which is in West Texas. Amarillo? No, it's in Northwest Texas, I believe. And it's this thing.
Yeah.
It was a mysterious-looking creature lurking outside of the Amarillo Zoo, leaving city officials baffled on what it might be in the dark and early morning hours. No one knows what it is. Some people thought it was like a person wearing a hat.
Yeah. It does look
Can
like
we see it?
It looks like the Babadook a little bit.
Who is a gay icon? Do you remember why the Babadook is a gay icon?
No.
Because it was a Pride where Netflix posted their like Pride LGBT movies and accidentally put Babadook in that section, and everyone was like, icon! So now Babadook. I think it looks like Ugly Sonic. Remember the edited one?
Yeah.
Or the non-edited one? I actually, you know what? This is just me coming home from Pride Sunday night. That's actually...
This is me Sunday morning.
What this is. But right. Yeah, this is just trying to like not make it obvious, but everyone has a ring cam now. You're like, no one's going to see me. We see you, bitch.
So funny, like wearing the outfit I wore to the party, glitter all over.
It is weird though, because I'm like, I want some weird evolved mutant. Like we talked about mutant sharks. There was like a volcano that erupted, and all these like underground sharks are released into the ocean. Oh yeah, we get through these stories every now and then. But I'm ready for some like mutated creature for everyone to see. And I'm ready for it now. So the Chupacabra, which is a Mexican It's a Texas-Mexico folklore of a goat sucker.
Goat sucker.
That's what it is. Chupacabra.
Yeah.
It's goat sucker.
Yeah. Quite literally.
You heard it here first. But yeah, they're like, we don't know what it is, but now I want to know. But at the same time, I don't want to know because then it like ruins everything. If they're like, oh, it's just an old scarecrow in a cornfield. I'm like,
I
what
just
did you call
love
me?
that picture because it's like, it's if the chupacabra got up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Oh yeah, yeah, like got home from
Gotcha.
Grinder. Yeah. Well, I sucked that goat. All right, buddy. Well, we love you so much, Johnny Sibilly. It is so wonderful to sit down and talk with you. Thank you for taking time out of your busy day. Make sure to check out Queer as Folk on Peacock and Hacks on HBO Max. Make sure to check out Pose, which is on Netflix.
Yeah.
Yeah. ...
Yeah.
And as always, thank you, love you, friend of the pod. Happy Pride.
Happy Pride.
We'll see you next time on Just Saying with Justin Martindale. Take care, guys.